All right. Now let's get into a little Q&A. Funds are soft. That's right. Yeah, I mean, it is. Bear says it right, the fall guy. I got to tell you, I mean, 4 months is pretty hefty. And there's a lot of political prisoners that are out there as well that have been seen for decades. But time is time. And that is the only asset that is truly finite and is truly the one that we really should safeguard the most. So, Big Short, top 10 of all time. It's a good movie, I got to tell you. Huh. Kevin X probably had Elizabeth Warren begging him to shut it down so she could get fixed. Hey, speaking of Elizabeth Warren, I was at Consensus. We're sitting there in the hotel, me and my partners for our project, and I just see this guy on the side just walk. Big guy, big bald head, big huge goatee. I'm like, hey, John Deaton, where are you going? He's like, hey, buddy, and he comes over and we talk for about, I swear to God, we talk. It was me, him, and John. We talked for about 15, 20 minutes just about what he's doing and as far as his election process. And, you know, we all know that John Deaton, good guy, especially for crypto, patriot, former Marine, lawyer, done a lot of things for the crypto space, is campaigning and rooting and going against Elizabeth Warren for the Senate seat in Massachusetts. And when I did a video on that, I initially said that John doesn't really have a good chance, quite honestly, because it is mostly a Democratic state. As soon as I put that out, everybody told me how wrong I was, which I do appreciate because I don't get it right all the time. I think we all know that. And they said, Rob, just look at the governors over time in Massachusetts. There's been quite a few Republicans, Romney, and all those things. And then also John reminded me, he said, hey, he goes, just remember that like 63% are independent voters in Massachusetts. And he goes, we've had some internal polling. And he shared some data with me that looks pretty promising. So I'm going to do a fundraiser video. Hopefully we'll have John Deaton on. I'm going to introduce him to some of the people that I know. And hopefully we can get this guy elected. Because let's be honest, Elizabeth Warren, not great for crypto. I don't think she's really great for Massachusetts either. I don't know what the hell happened to her. But you know what he did say? There was one more thing that he said to me. And he goes, I never understood why she was so anti-crypto. I couldn't really get it because she was so anti-bank. So you would think that kind of feed into it. He goes, but then as the CBDC regulations started to roll out, and you could see her support for CBDCs, he's like, the light bulb went off. She wants to get rid of crypto and digital assets and go straight to CBDCs, which of course we know are not the best thing, unless you like a massive government overrule and looking down upon it. If you like that, CBDCs definitely have its place. So he's like, that made sense. Now I know why she's so much against crypto. She thinks CBDCs are the future. And he goes, that's just big government right into your space. So I'm not a big fan of CBDCs. I'd like to see her out as well. So I will do what I can to support John and his endeavors. All right. Yeah, right? That's funny. Pay, very nice. I haven't seen a man in a while. It's a very nice picture you got. Got a nice jacket on, good shirt, looks sharp. Who do you think is better for crypto, RFK or Trump? Come on. Come on. Obviously, it's obvious. RFK is much better. RFK is much better for crypto than Trump. And Trump is much better for crypto than Biden. That's my stance. I was actually at Consensus. I didn't get a chance to see RFK. I know he was there, but I had to take off Thursday afternoon. But yeah, he's much, much better. And maybe he wins. I mean, look, I think he's got one of the strongest presence as a third-party candidate since Ross Perot. If you guys don't know who Ross Perot is, it's because you're not old like me. Look him up. He was actually on the debate stage during the George Bush era. So that's George Bush Sr. So yeah, that was a good one. Wow, is right. Hold on. Ross Perot. Let me see if I can find him. Yeah, there it is. So it was actually Clinton and Senior. That's Ross Perot. Ross Perot, independent. And he actually got I didn't know that. He got almost 19% of the vote. And then George H.W. Bush got 37, and Clinton, which, say what you want about Clinton, he almost balanced the budget back in those days in 1990, whatever the heck it was, 1992. And of course, now we're $34 trillion in debt. Don't know what happened there, but yeah. So yeah, third-party candidate looks pretty good. I think the second best option would be him just, man, imagine if him and Trump ran together. What would happen? I wonder how many people would vote for that ticket. Somebody said make felonies great again. That's pretty funny. What are you going to do? A-Kick says Trump is a traitor. I can't vote for him. Got to vote your conscience, right? Do what you feel is best. Biden's in a retirement village. Look, I hope I'm as spry as Joe Biden at that age. What is he? I think he's like 82. I don't know. Hopefully I make it to 60. We'll see. The dude says 50 million Americans now own crypto. Vote accordingly in November. Some people will say that, but some people will say that freedom is more important, so vote in that direction. I can't vote for the president regardless. I'm a Puerto Rican, so I can't. I mean, I live in Puerto Rico. If you're Puerto Rican and you live in the States, you can vote, obviously. But if you live in Puerto Rico, not happening. Trader comments coming all about. Trader. Red Panda Pie is here. Tesla is here. William Sherman. Yeah, see. Rob was around when Moses was just a lad in Egypt. I was a waiter at the Last Supper. Are you kidding me? I'm very old. Yeah, it's tough. Pay says, I'm here, but your streams are different. Yeah, I haven't been doing a video. And then today I got up pretty early because I'm on a different time zone because I was used to the Austin time zone for a bit, but just did a little early. Maybe we'll do a second stream today. Who knows? But I just want to talk to everybody because I've been out seeing people in Austin. I had a good time in Consensus. I didn't really go to the floor too much because it's just, I was there for a couple hours or so. I saw Gary Cardone. I saw the guys from Cornucopias. I just met Josh. I didn't see Rob. I met some guys from Polkadot, and then the rest of them just was a blur. I didn't really get to it. But I got to see some other people. I met with the Brave Browser team. That was fun. And they told me what they're doing. And let me tell you, I think their direction for Web3 is spot on. Right now, they're doing a lot of things with meme coins and Solana, and I understand why they're doing it. Next, they want to break into gaming. And I think that's a smart choice for Web3 gaming. So that's why we met with them. And then we met with the Solana Foundation. Also, they're part of the Game Shift, their wallet company, essentially, and Galaxy. Met with them too. Good times. Gary doxed his phone on live stream. Cardone. Do you use trading bots? You find them useful? I don't. Some people do. I just don't do it. I don't do it because I'm just only given access to things anymore. Space Ray, the three biggest narratives of 2024-25. It's going to be AI, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be chain abstraction. And that was, I think, one of the themes that I learned about going to Consensus. The same old thing was there, security and wallets and great, have fun. But a lot of things that I heard a lot about was chain abstraction, meaning you don't really know what's going on underneath the hood, and that all these chains can kind of work together in a synergistic way. And that's one of the things that Galaxy was talking about. That's a lot of things that I think Polkadot was talking about, just working things underneath. So you could do, doesn't matter if you have Ethereum or Cosmos, or you have VeChain, or you have whatever, you can just use them all together. And the chain that has the most transactions wins and gets the most funds as far as like payments. So I can see that. I love Brave Browser too. It's great. Are you going to make a special and tell us about your trip? No. I mean, it's pretty boring, honestly, just a bunch of talking. I did tell you though, I met with the iTRUST Capital team. That was fun. Had a bunch of drinks. Met Arlo at one of his events. That was really fun. And then had more drinks. And then I stumbled back to my hotel room. But before we did that, I met with my team, and they told us, hey, we're going to go meet with this other group of people that we need to meet with. Sure. So they got lost, and I was no help at all. But we're in some hotel room, and we're going down the hallway, and we're just going down. And then I see this guy. It's 11 o'clock at night. He's got dark shades on, cut off t-shirt. I think there were jean shorts. I look, and I'm like, who the hell is that? And it was BitBoy. And the BitBoy is right in front of me. And I had to take a second look. I'm like, hey. And I went up to him. I go, hey, man, how's it going? And he's like, I go, I'm rooting for you. And that was it. Because, I mean, I know some people like hate him, but like we're all dealing with our own demons. And I was like, that was a weird conversation. And then I take 7 steps later, and I run into Yat Su, who is the CEO and founder of Animoca Brands. I go, hey, Yat, where are you going? And he looked up at me, and I'm like, yeah, it's Rob with Digital Asset News. Oh, yeah, we had that interview. So we sat there and talked to Yat for about 20 minutes in some cramped hallway talking about Flappy Bird. And that was it. And then that was all. And then one more thing about BitBoy. He's very short. He came up to like right here. I thought he was a big guy. Anyhow, I hope that guy makes it out. Rooting for people. Yeah. And when I say like too many drinks, I can't drink like I used to anymore. So I think it was like 3 drinks or 4 max. Oh, I got to meet Jesus Martinez from Classy Games. That was fun. We sat down with the group from Solana, our Game Shift. And then I met my friend Andy, who's big into Bitcoin mining. It was pretty fun. Let's see. Hey, Rob, based on your experience, which crypto project would you say pays the most content creators to keep their project relevant? Polkadot. Yeah. I think there was like this initiative. I mean, I don't know for sure. Probably meme coins, actually. Because meme coins are always talking to me. I remember Milo. Was it Milo? Yeah, it was Milo. So Milo reached out to me, and they offered me 5 figures to do a video. They go, we'll pay you to do a video, and just talk about Milo. And that happens a lot. And I said, no, because if I do that, then I have to disclose it, and then that makes you guys look bad because I'm just talking about you because you paid for it. I'll tell you what. I go, how about this? I'll do a video, but you give me Milo, and I'll just give it all to my subscribers. And I said, deal. So we did that on Dan Degen. So everything that I got, I think I kept like $20 for my time and effort. And I gave away like $5,000 worth of Milo, which if you think about it, what I should have done was taken the 5 figures, bought the Milo, and then give it to everybody else. But it's still a hassle to do. And Polkadot, I mean, it's still a good project. It's just that I know that they have an initiative to reach out to content creators and pay for them to be on there. So just as you look around and you see it, you'll think to yourself, okay, well, Polkadot's in the upper corner and they're talking about it a lot. Why is that? Probably because they're paying. Does that mean that it's a bad project? No. It means they want to stand out, and that's all. Like iTrust Capital, right? They're partners of the show. I like iTrust Capital. I've been with them for 3 years. It's a Roth IRA, and that's that. So, and everything's affiliate links. Just true. Careful, Ron. BitBoy is just behind you. He's wherever he's at. Oh, iTrust Capital Custodial. You met with them and they didn't come up. So yeah, the custodial service was like, we talked about 3 things. We talked about how many new cryptos are going to come out, when are they going to have staking, and what's up with the custody. So with the custody, they actually still did use Fireblocks. I wasn't aware. I thought they actually moved from Fireblocks to Fortress. Fortress it works, but it has some baggage along with it that they didn't really like. And just between us, well, first of all, their custody service, they're actually going to have their own custody service, which is going to be regulated by the state of which they're in, which is California. And they're going to be overseen by state regulators. So everything is on the up and up for there. And also, one of their former custodians, which is a pretty big custodian, they're going to start to work with again. Rhymes with Moinbase. And I'm like, great, because, MicroStrategy likes them too, and a lot of the ETFs like them, so that's fantastic. So we talked about that, which made sense to me, to move in the right direction. The second thing we talked about was staking. And I go, what the hell happened there? Because you guys were doing, I can't remember I think it might have been Polkadot. I can't remember. It's either Polkadot or Avalanche, one of those two. And they allowed staking. They went through one cycle and then they stopped it. And I said, why did you guys do that? And they said, oh, we stopped because of the different lawsuits that the SEC brought forth, especially with Kraken and staking. Remember that? They didn't like the whole staking aspect. First of all, they sued Kraken, and Kraken came to the table and go, what do you want us to do? We'll bend the knee. Okay, don't do this, this, and this. And that's good. And after that, like 6 months later, they came back to him. Oh yeah, we're going to sue you again. I want you to do this, this, and this. That's why I tell everybody, you can never negotiate with bullies. Bullies only understand one thing. You have to hit them in the mouth. And then when you hit in the mouth, they're like, oh, okay, well, I don't have to mess with you anymore. And that's essentially what's going on with the centralized exchanges right now and the different crypto projects. They're like, we don't want to deal with you. We're just going to attack you and we're going to sue you, which is the right approach. I said 2 years ago, but not like I've been right on everything. So on that one, they said no more staking until we get guidance or clarity, which again sucks, because wouldn't that be great to have that in your Roth IRA? Tax-free as these rewards come in. Can't do that. And the last thing was, how many different cryptos are you going to add to it? Just between us and the 2,500 people watching. Don't tell anybody. But they're looking to add 30 more different cryptos and digital assets. And I said, are you looking to add meme coins? Because I think that's a hot tamale. And they said, well, we could add meme coins, and we're actually actively looking to add certain meme coins, but it's up to the person and the individual if they want that in their portfolio for a retirement account. And I was like, well, I can see why you'd want to do that, but that means people are going to trade within their account, which is okay. Did you know that in a Roth IRA account, you can trade within your account and the gains that you have are not taxable? Let's just say that you had the ability to buy Pepe coin in your Roth IRA and it went up 10 billion% or whatever the heck it went up to. Did you know that all those gains are tax-free? That's the same thing that Peter Thiel did, the billionaire, with his PayPal shares. He put his Roth IRA in his Roth IRA. This was years ago. We talked about this. There's a video in the description which talks about iTRUST, why iTRUST. I go through the whole story. Peter Thiel took his stock of PayPal, which were worth basically nothing because you can only put in so much thousands of dollars per year. He stuck those in a Roth IRA. They accumulated. His Roth IRA is now worth north of $5 billion, and that's all tax-free. So imagine being able to do that with meme coins, and we know they're not going to last, right? But you could just say, just as easily go, okay, well, I'm going to transfer, I'm going to ride this up for meme coins, I'm going to trade within my Roth IRA, and I'm going to put it into Bitcoin. I'm going to put it into USDC. I'm just going to put it into cash, whatever. Then you lock in those profits, and that's it. And then, or if you just want to put it into Bitcoin, whatever else. So that's the three things that were going on, and that's as much as I remember. Remember, it was a heavy night. All right. It's interesting. Check out Michael Schellenberger or Glenn Greenwald. Not conservatives yet completely agree and validate conservatives' current grievances with the political climate. Yeah, that's a hotbed. Yeah, sure. I'm buying some BitConnect Classic, just like Luna Classic. Kathy, I missed the beginning of the live. Don't worry. There's one right around the corner. ICP is the real deal. Potentially, probably do great in the bull run. Jasmine's on the move again. And that's it. think I answered everybody's question. Crypto Maxi, when are you allowed to get your money out of iTRUST? Depends on if you want to take the taxable event or the non-taxable event. So it just depends for you. Like for me, I have to wait till I'm 59 and a half years old to start to take out, if I wanted to take out those profits. And then at that point, then I could actually take them out tax-free. If you're past that age, then you have to, I think you have to wait at least a year until afterwards, and when you start to accumulate, to take things out. So talk to those guys over at iTrust. They'll tell you what it is for you, and then go from there. And Uzi Met says, can you make a video together with Cardone? We did one. If you guys go look at Gary Cardone's YouTube channel, I'm there. We did a live stream together. J2 Day, can you earn a yield on anything in iTrust? Not that I know of. It used to be that you could do that with staking, but you can't do that there. The only accumulation or appreciation is if the price goes up of whatever you have as far as an asset. And in that iTrust IRA account, not only do I have crypto, but I also have gold and silver. So I like that part. And what I like about the gold is that it's stored safely in the Canadian Mint. So I like that part. Yeah. Then we talked about this too. El Janacha says, the Roth is a cool retirement plan, but buy, borrow, die is best for me. I think for you, because you look like a young guy. So buy, borrow, die. And I was talking to Jesus about this, about the strategy, because he's a young kid. Him and his new fiance. Congratulations, Jesus. Going to get married pretty soon. And I was explaining, you know, buy, borrow, die. Take a look at it as with Jeff Bezos. So Jeff Bezos, he makes billions of dollars on his stocks, right? And if he took those stocks and they appreciate, the IRS is like, hey, you owe us money. He's like, no, I don't. I don't know you guys squat until I actually sell those stocks. And they're like, well, you're going to sell them at some point, right? No, I'm not going to sell any of those stocks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out, let's say you got $10 billion. I'm going to take out a loan of $1 billion against those stocks. That's the collateral. The bank sees the collateral and says, okay, well, I can take those stocks and sell them if I really need them. Here's your $1 billion, sir, at 2%, 3%, which is a lot on it as far as like a percentage wise. So the bank's happy, they get a percentage. Jeff Bezos is happy, he's got $1 billion just sitting there and it's tax free. But then people will say, well, what happens when that money runs out? Doesn't he have to pay that back? Absolutely not. Just takes a bigger loan. And he keeps taking bigger loans and bigger loans and bigger loans until he dies. Buy, borrow, die, or some kind of catastrophe happens, then of course he has to pay up. And then people will say, well, aren't the banks hip to this? Yes. And that's why they love it, because they're getting 2 to 3% or whatever interest rate that they're actually having. And they're like, they're getting paid. Jeff's getting paid. No one's not getting paid as the IRS. So like this buy, borrow, die is a great strategy as far as for the ultra rich and just the medium-sized rich, I guess, like us. But the thing is you have to think about is this. If you have to put in collateral and you're in crypto, what are you going to do? How are you going to do that? You're going to do it like with Bitcoin? You're going to do it with Ethereum? You're going to do it with Pepe? And then who's going to do that? And who's going to take your keys? Not your keys, not your crypto. Now, there are new companies coming out every day that are talking about doing that, allowing you to either retain your keys, have collateral, or having them in like a multi-sig wallet, having that custody. Have fun. So with that approach, you could put up your collateral with Bitcoin or Ethereum or Pepe or Coin or whatever it is. I personally am not going to do that. I've already gotten burned by Celsius. And I know one thing. In the parabolic bull market, all this stuff is going to make sense and people are going to think they're financial geniuses and they're going to go for that. I have time. And I will sit back and not be a pioneer and let everybody do that. And I will watch the next bear market come. And if they make it through, then I'll be like, you know what? Maybe that's valuable. But until that time, I have to see everybody else go through it, and I have to sit back and watch. I've already learned my lesson. I'm not getting screwed over again. I'm just fine where I'm at. So, or El Guancho, sorry, that's a good one. You can do it, and I will watch you and take your lead, sir. I am not the pioneer in that one. Rob, is your t-shirt new merch? It's not, it's actually old merch. Actually, we got this built for Korean Blockchain Week. I just was one of those shirts I had just to throw on this morning. Mike Flynn, who cares? There is only Bitcoin. There is only Bitcoin. The question is, you know, when are we going to start building on Bitcoin to make things like the smart contracts and DeFi and things that people want to do and real world assets? Because that's what the Bitcoin maxis talk about. They're like, why do we have all these DeFi and meme coins and all this nonsense? This market, well, we can just do this on Bitcoin. Let's build on Bitcoin. And now it's happening. You know, you've got Stacks, you got Velos or Velo, you've got Core and a host of others that are out there that are doing like layer 2 solutions on Bitcoin. I think that's the next step. You think Solana will be the next ETF? I don't think it. Kathy Woods thinks it. And that's one of the keynote speakers I actually listened to at Consensus. She talked about how she believes that Solana is the next ETF. I can see it though. And we talked about this. I talked about this twice now. One on NFA Live this Thursday, and one on a video about a week ago or so. Because if you look at the institutional demand, it kind of just points towards that. Also, did you guys see that PayPal is now using a stablecoin built on Solana? Check this out. I'll Google it. I'm sure it'll come up. Which that means that you have an on and off ramp now. No, see what Bloomberg says. PayPal adds stablecoin to meme coin favorite Solana blockchain. They launched PayPal USD on Ethereum in August. PayPal chose Solana for speed and low cost despite outages. I got to pay for that. That's not going to happen. Let's see. This is the thing that was interesting. Offers confidential transfers. And this is why they picked Solana. Confidential transfers allow merchants to provide confidentiality. Ooh, hey, look at that. For transaction amounts to their consumers while maintaining visibility for regulatory purposes. The best of both worlds, I guess. May 29th, PayPal announced to deploy its dollar peg stablecoin on Solana, having only previously been on Ethereum. I got to tell you, that's a pretty good thing for Solana. Anyhow, so that's what's going on. What is the, but I got to read into this though. What is this? One notable extension initialized for PayPal USD is confidential transfers. Allow merchants to provide confidentiality for transaction amounts to their consumers while maintaining visibility. Bitcoin Udi Wertheimer, which a lot of maxis hate, by the way, said this sounds like a lot like confidential transactions, a feature Bitcoin devs have been LARPing about for almost a decade, but never built it. And you're telling me PayPal users will have it first? That's funny. That's pretty funny. Hey, things move, things move. Angela says, shouldn't we be getting bags of ETH now that ETF is coming? ETH is already the biggest ecosystem. It's a good point. I don't know if it's going to follow the same pattern as far as like what happened with Bitcoin and its ETF. It seemed like Grayscale dumped a bunch, and then we saw a little bit of a reduction, and then it kind of came up. So we'll see. The next question is you know that the SEC, the primary, the chair, Gensler and Pierce and the other three individuals, they didn't vote to approve that. It was actually by a special committee within the SEC that approved the Ethereum ETF. Any one of those five can ask for not an investigation, but I guess a dive into it, and they could potentially reject it within 10 days. So they got 10 days, we'll see what happens. But the question I have is because now that, now that Trump has been convicted for the felonies, will the Biden administration go, all right, well, I don't have to worry about that. Now we don't have to pander to the crypto people because we hate them anyhow, which they have. You know, we've only actually taken a real hard look at that since, you know, Trump came out and said, hey, I'd like to make this a priority. So we'll see. I guess we'll see in the North. So I don't know if it's a great idea and like dump everything into it, or you can do what I do, which is, and somebody asked me this, is are you still DCAing on Coinbase? And the answer is yes. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm looking for more positive indicators, but yeah, I still DCA, and Ethereum is one of those. More felonies to come. Free Assange. Yes, that's one person that should be freed. Crypto Max says, can a felon be a president? Let's be honest. Most of the presidents that ever took office did something illegal, but yet they still were able to stay in office. I'm not here to debate that because I'm not a lawyer. Davey says a veto prevents a bill from being enacted. A presidential veto can be overridden by a 2/3 vote in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. Let's see if it actually goes through. This will be appealed. Wouldn't that be a blow to the administration if that actually goes through? All right, buddy, that's it for today. So look, it's a good day. Maybe get out for yourself and go touch grass, all that good stuff. That's it for this session. I might do a secondary stream later. Depends on what the news is. We'll see. If not, I'll see you guys on Sunday. But thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate you all. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next one, maybe tomorrow, maybe today.